Smurfs.
What's smurfing on here?
Not those Smurfs, the other kind.
Is it? Blue, come on, that's just dirty.
Coming. I'm telling you, he's a pro player.
He's trying.
But also, kind of both. Smurfing is a common term in esports and gaming for when high-level players use a secondary account to play against weaker opponents.
What?
There are a lot of opinions about whether or not you should do this, and we'll get into that. But first, where did this term come from? To find out, we've got to go back in time to the glorious, hope-filled days of 1996.
Not the 90s again.
What did I tell you last episode?
You can't tell me what the
Fuck to do, fuck to do, fuck to do.
It's all coming back, it's all coming back to me now. There were moments of
Rebel. The way you work it. And together, we will build that bridge to the 21st century.
You can go in and basically check out all the features from DVDs.
That's probably the best thing about DVDs on this show.
Your sound card works perfectly.
In 1996, a relatively small but incredibly dedicated group of Warcraft 2 players were playing the game online. The game did not support online multiplayer out of the box, so players had to install and configure a program called Kali, which basically let you use TCP/IP to emulate a LAN environment. There was no matchmaking, so you had to find a lobby the old-fashioned way. Two of these dedicated fans, Jeff Schlongor Fraser. Yes, Miles, this is where you cut to a wiener joke. Anyway, Jeff Schlongor Fraser and Greg Warp Boyko were so good at Warcraft 2 that many players avoided them completely. And in order to actually find opposition, the two created alternate accounts under the names of Papa Smurf and Smurfette. Yes, that's right. They assumed the identities of two strange, tiny blue forest-dwelling humanoids who live in mushroom houses within a predominantly male egalitarian society functioning without any apparent form of commerce.
Your greed is your undoing.
Anyways, back to Warcraft 2. The only record of played games that we have are literal written accounts of them since replays didn't exist yet and no one recorded video. It was in these accounts that Schlongor chronicled the joys of smurfing.
Warp and I enjoy making up names and playing people at war too. We make them think we really suck and then beat them up. We have lots of fun playing as Smurfs. We talk in Smurf. We Smurf us an ass at war too. I guess that is totally childish, but it sure is fun.
Things were going pretty well for Schlongor and Warp, but people suspected that something was up. And eventually, the two Smurfs found themselves in a game against a newcomer named Spider-Man. Little did Schlongor and Warp know at the time, but the mysterious web crawler was actually another Smurf account. Zima, the leader of a rival clan.
I'm smurfing undercover.
And while Spider-Man did manage to knock Schlongor out of the game early, Warp was able to finish the job for the smurfing duo. In time, smurfing would spread beyond Warcraft 2, especially as automated matchmaking systems became more common. And today, it's more prevalent than ever.
Poor guys. They're just trying to get a friendly game in. They're just trying to get a friendly game in. Losing my lucky mind. Oh my god, dude, this is so fucked up.
Regardless of whether the Smurfs are doing this for the fun of stomping noobs or trying to play with friends who aren't as skilled, the practice is controversial. And plenty of people from various gaming communities have weighed in on the issue. Riot Games admitted that while they don't endorse smurfing, it's a complicated issue, and that people smurfing to play with friends or to try out unconventional strategies on a different account shouldn't be treated the same way as people just intent on griefing new players. Blizzard Entertainment's Jeff Kaplan also addressed rising concerns that smurfing was becoming an epidemic in Overwatch, but downplayed its overall impact on the matchmaking ladder. It's a tricky problem though. Developers want you to play their game because if you aren't, there's a lot of other things you aren't doing as well, like spending money or spreading the word. But smurfing has the potential to ruin the game for lower ranked players. Getting crushed by someone you shouldn't even be playing with isn't fun. After all, matchmaking is there for a reason.
If you do it on the ground, will he notice?
While pro players often smurf to hide their identities, it's not uncommon for these accounts to become well known through appearing on their streams. The usage of the term smurf is so widespread in esports and gaming that some have even started using it sarcastically.
Gene is smurfing. Oh, no. Right. Gene's really smurfing. Oh, Gene is really smurfing. I'm smurfing, by the way.
The idea is that the highest level of League of Legends competition for each respective region is actually far below the skill level of the player who is smurfing. It can also be used as a mark of regional pride. A Korean player who's playing for an NA team could be described as smurfing in NA. So there you have it, smurfing. A fateful decision made over 20 years ago by two Warcraft 2 players, one of whom had the word schlong in his name, has forever changed the way we view suspiciously good accounts in competitive gaming. And as long as matchmaking remains, you can bet there are going to be players who take on the persona of tiny blue people to smash noobs.
Josh, do you have a Smurf account in Rainbow Six Siege?
No. Why?
I keep getting smashed in solo queue by some guy called Smockin.
That's definitely not me.
Smurfs.
Sorry. That was such a ha-ha cough.
What?
It
How
was-
can
it was just
how can a
like-
cough be cringe?
It was cringe.
What? It was like I was clearing my throat. Like a golem kind of situation. Smurfs! Smurfs! Jesus, anyways.
Okay, sorry.
Continue,
That was good. Like same kind of thing.
It was good, but it was cringe.
It was good cringe, yeah.
Jesus.